Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come and in the evening the PIP videos come, both in Hindi and English language, and the PDF you will get on the Telegram channel of the StudyIQ and on my Facebook group Amit Sani group for IAS preparation. So today is Saturday, it's a weekend session, ground zero report is there and some articles are there. So this lesson is going to be quick, and the most important motivation for the day, consistency. This word should give you motivation because this word is so potent a word. You can see the example of this hand pump. If you push it very hard and with a single stroke, you will never get the water. If you push it slowly without any consistency, then also you are not going to get any water. If you consistently push it with a moderate force, then certainly there would be consistent flow of water from the hand pump. The same goes with the life, and you have to be motivated to go consistently every day. No single attempt is gonna give you a big success. Yesterday we talked about the Aristotle's phenomena of making a repeated good effort just to cultivate your virtues or your qualities. So the same thing goes with the life, and anything big if you want to achieve, then certainly go with the consistency. And this consistency keeps you motivated, keeps you confident every day. One day you do a practice and you achieve something, then you are confident. Second day consistently if you get something, then you are more confident. Third day you are much more confident. After a certain period of time, your confidence level would be at peak and you will get the desired success at that time. But that thing is gonna take some time, and you will need patience, because to maintain consistency, patience is the basic thing. So remember this thing, never break your consistency, never. Otherwise leave about achieving anything big. Consistency is the main thing. That is the first condition. All these courses are important pen drive courses by StudyIQ. Call on these numbers and you can order them. Next, the editorials today. Before that, the MCQs that I gave to you yesterday. Gagan Shakti, biggest military exercise in decades undertaken by India to showcase its air dominance over the entire extended area of Indian Ocean region. That's perfectly right, a statement. Second, it recently happened in Bengaluru. No, it happened in Pokhran, Rajasthan. Pokhran is in Jaisalmer district of Rajasthan, the western part of the Rajasthan near the Pakistan's border. And second statement is wrong, that's why. So only one would be the correct answer here. Next, largest FDI contributor is Singapore this year. Mauritius is the second one, and all the list follows. Next, recently first mega food park of Tripura inaugurated in Agartala. That's a correct statement. Near Agartala there is a village, and I don't know the name, but the Minister of State for Food Processing, she introduced this first mega food park of the state. And this mega food park scheme has been going on for nearly a decade now. It's not a new scheme. So second statement is wrong. Only one is the correct answer here. Next, FOC, it's a final operational clearance, not certificate, not flight. It's a final operational clearance. There are two types of clearance, IOC and FOC, initial operation clearance and final operating clearance. And it is especially for these planes and all. Recently on 20th of February, the FOC was given to the LCA Tejas, Light Combat Aircraft Tejas, and that's why it became very important. So some abbreviations are extremely important, like FOC, Original Equipment Manufacturer, OEM. These are frequently you see in the newspaper. Next, this article we are going to discuss here, without land or recourse. As I told you earlier also that big articles are going to come on this issue because this is a very sensitive issue. The NRC exercise of Assam is going on, and the issue of eviction is there. And the same issue of eviction is going to be there with Adivasis, or these indigenous forest dwellers. Mainly they are scheduled tribe communities and other forest dweller communities. So they are under threat, and nearly half of their applications are rejected because they are not able to fulfill some conditions. So evictions are going to follow. So it's a very important issue of GS paper 2, and this we are not going to discuss because that is not important for us from the exam point of view. It is between Venezuela and the US, and the specific type of geopolitics that is being played here. So it's not important for us. So we are not going to discuss this. We are going to discuss this issue of mixed optics. It is regarding the Crown Prince's visit. It was a one-day visit, and it was a grand welcome by Mr. Modi for Saudi Arabian Prince MBS bin Salman. And you see, there were over expectations according to the writer, because he was making these good statements, but those were more formal statements according to the international platform, because he is actually visiting many countries, India, China, Indonesia, and simultaneously Pakistan also. And we were trying to get Saudi Arabia on a particular stage where it is gonna criticize heavily Pakistan, it is gonna create a lot of pressure on Pakistan, but that did not happen as we expected. That is the issue. And on the next day, he went to Pakistan and he announced, not announced, but he said that Islamabad's, Pakistan's effort against terrorist activities is appreciable. So just opposite statement he made as we wanted him to make for Pakistan. So you see, all these leaders, all these visits, they are very formal and they are always targeting their own interests, and it is less about some other country. It is evident again, and always we can see this thing. So whatever talks we were making in media and all these things, you see, they are more a hype, and we should refrain from this particular hype, because this is not good for the health of this country. We need facts, we need right appropriate information, but whatever being played in the media in the name of information, that is something not appropriate, and we should be careful about the media hype. And here we see, in the case of the Crown Prince's visit, although the visit was a positive one and very important announcements were made, like $44 billion petrochemical complex in Ratnagiri, and apart from that, $26 billion investments are going to follow after that additionally. So these are positive ones, and these are on the economic grounds good ones. But the main wish for us, for Saudi Arabia, that it makes some very harsh statements regarding Pakistan, and it creates a pressure that could not be on the expected lines. So that is the problem. And you see, there is a same issue of making India's effort on the international platform against Pakistan. This issue is going to be important for GS paper 2 mainly, and this we are going to discuss. It's important for GS paper 2 and 3 both. Okay, and here the writer is saying that in sending a strong message to Pakistan, India should not shoot itself in the foot. How this thing is, and how in making efforts against Pakistan internationally, we have lost 2 events here, and we needed to be very, very cautious here. So we are going to discuss that. So let's start with the missed target. You see, as I told you in some articles some days back, that when conditions are against us, and when it is a time to focus, and when it is a time when we want to take revenge, and it is a time when we want to defeat someone, then we need to be most calm and always most conscious in a situation. So in a situation like this, we had to observe each and every situation very, very carefully, each and every development very, very carefully. But due to some kind of a great pressure, that is very obvious at this particular time, because 44 soldiers are dead. So this pressure was obvious, but we needed to give a proper reply, a great reply, so that that country is cornered and that is completely targeted. But you see, in a situation where all countries are listened on the international platform, and the situation which the media is creating in this country, and actually it is making India over and over emotional, and not discussing the proper channels of revenge and proper channels of a befitting reply. In this situation, out of the pressure, we actually pressured the International Olympic Committee, and out of 16 events, we have lost 2 events because the qualification status is actually changed by the Olympic Committee, because the IOC has actually revoked the qualification status for important two events, for the men's 25 meter rapid fire pistol event from the New Delhi Shooting World Cup. And you see, it's a controversy Indian sport could have done without. Why? Because this has come after the India refused visas to 2 Pakistani competitors. and this issue is going on. You see, the situation is very different in India, and it is not possible for any Indian to get involved with Pakistan at any platform. It is the issue of our dignity and the sin that Pakistan has committed. So how can we allow these things? But you see, are these things gonna help Pakistan or not? That is the main question. And it is also in the area of cricket also, where BCCI is pressured to write a letter to ICC that get Pakistan banned from the World Cup 2019. But it is gonna be possible or not? Or whether we are also having some kind of thing here, the way International Olympic Committee has done with us. You see, here what happened. 3 Indian shooters, for no fault of theirs, have ended up as a collateral damage, because they will not be qualified for now. And it includes one person, Anish Bhanwala, who won the gold in the event at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. So it was a great opportunity for him. And we could have actually defeated Pakistan in its a particular platform on the games also, and this should happen in cricket also. It is not like that we should not play. We should actually play, and we should defeat their country, and we should show their face there also. That is the actual spirit. From this, what is going to happen? Actually, Pakistan is going to be benefited out of this situation, because it is not the same understanding that these international committees are going to have as the Indian committees are having, because they are going to hear Pakistan's argument also, and they are international community. So they would say that how can we be biased about one argument? We would hear both the arguments, and how can we be assured of this thing, that these sports people, they are involved in this particular attack. But it is not about the attack, it is about our pressure that we are going to create here. But is that going to be feasible or not? That is the question. And if somewhere we are having a particular loss here because of these things, then certainly we should think twice about it. The IOC, International Olympic Committee, in a strongly worded statement, said that it has decided to suspend all discussions with the Indian National Olympics Committee and government regarding the potential application for hosting future sports. You see, it is very problematic for them if in the end moment, if any event is cancelled, or if any problem is erupting, and it is because of some countries' arguments, because of some countries' withdrawal or some countries' objection. That's a issue, and these issues has happened in the past also, regarding Malaysia's denial to entertain Israel's sportsmen, and anyway they were never wanted to involve with the Israel country. So Malaysia was stripped of the World Para Swimming Championship because they turned down visa request from Israeli participants, and we are also denying visa to Pakistani participants. So it is going to be a problem for the international bodies, and certainly they are going to come up with these kind of harsh measures. So it's a dilemma, it's a great thinking that is involved here. And when it's about defeating Pakistan's all purposes, then certainly we need to think more and more deeply. We need to engage here in these international events. That is certainly sure for the World Cup of cricket also, because that is why Sachin Tendulkar is saying that it is going to benefit Pakistan anyway, and we should play with Pakistan and should defeat Pakistan. That is going to be much more important than the status quo. Next article is regarding the tribal communities and their safeguards, and the issue that is arising where Supreme Court is actually taking different kinds of stands, and it is not conventional for the Supreme Court to give these kind of verdicts without land or recourse. The Supreme Court order on the eviction of forest dwellers raises very disturbing questions. According to the writer, you see, as we see, this has been the case with Supreme Court, that when public pressure is there and some things are against society, but still Supreme Court safeguard the constitutional provisions, constitutional values and individual liberty. And these kind of decisions are always appreciable, and they are very much respectable by the Supreme Court side. But recently many decisions they have come, and in a way they are more in a favor of authorities in a way. And you see, it is about the forest communities, tribal communities, and these dwellers, and it is about their issues. You see, they are the integral part of the forest, and it is always accepted, and it is in the rule books also. Schedule 5 and Schedule 6, they both are actually safeguarding the status of these indigenous communities. Schedule 5 is all about scheduled areas throughout the country, and Schedule 6 is specifically about the Assam and Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram states. So specifically they are targeting these communities and the safeguard of their culture especially. But you see, there are constitutional provisions, and in Article 19(5) the provision is also there where a state is bound to protect these communities and their culture, and they should not be disturbed anywhere, because in this Article 19 the freedom is given to go and settle anywhere in India except Jammu Kashmir. But you cannot go and settle in the these forest areas where these tribals and these communities are living, because we need to safeguard these communities. So that is why all these safeguards are there. But still, on some particular ground where a claim, if it is not clear, if they are not able to give evidence regarding the claim of their land, then now they won't be given any kind of pattas or any kind of right over their land. And not even this, they would be evicted from this particular land, and law would be applied, and law and order situation would be there if they are going to protest about it. So it's a total forced eviction from these areas if the claim is not settled. And you see, these authorities who are going to assess about these claims, there are deep concerns that we are going to discuss here. Claim as forest dwellers have been rejected under the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers (OTFDs), or we can simply say Forest Right Acts. It was recognized in 2006, and all these rights were actually recognized. And now you see, according to this exercise, there is a particular criteria where they need to produce some documents regarding their land part, or they need to produce evidences regarding their occupation. Now if they are not able to produce that, then it would be considered as a excessive encroachment on the forest land, and they would be evicted from there. As you can see in these pictures, as I told you, that integral part these people are. So are these people a threat to forest lands or these communities and wildlife? Is this the thing? Most of the people, most of the scholars, and most of the communities or any kind of bodies which are actually safeguarding these communities, they would say that certainly they are not a threat. But this kind of decision, why this is coming, there must be a reason. And these communities are already a vulnerable communities, already pushed by gross governmental neglect precariously to the edge. Why it is said? Because always, whether you see the states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and all these tribal communities living there, and the issues of Naxalites, the issue of tribals are always at the core, and that thing is evident that they are the poorest one. The development is not there, health facilities or the other basic facilities are hardly available to them. And now the eviction, this is gonna create an havoc, and it is not about some dwellers or some specific population. It is about 2 millions of the applications which are rejected. Out of 44 lakh, 20.5 lakh claims are rejected, around half of them rejected, and it is estimated that more than 1 million would be evicted from their lands. Now when the constitutional validity of this particular Forest Right Act was scrutinized in the 2016 year, and this order was there, and the provision that they read, obviously a claim in the context of the above mentioned act is based on an assertion that a claimant has been in possession of a certain parcel of the land located in the forest area. And that's true. This claim was there, and an important observation in this particular reading is that the writer is calling it a jurisprudential somersault. Means it's a total different stand. Somersault when it's a complete change in the position. And why court is doing that? When this was the order, these were the provisions, and it was obvious that pattas and all these temporary rights, these are not given for their lands to these forest dwellers, but certainly they cannot be evicted. But why this order where they are going to be forced to evict from their land if the claim is not settled, and these authorities are gonna grill that, and these authorities are actually most of the times they are against their rights. This thing has been going on as a great discussion always. The issue is always core about their rights, that how much right they have on these forest lands. You see, coastal regulation zone rules, they came recently, and they were against the local communities, marine species and everything, and that was totally against the environmental issue. And here you are putting these people's right, who are the integral part of this forest, against the wildlife, the forest protection and all. And here also what you are doing, you are actually targeting the vulnerable section. There also you are targeting the vulnerable section, and who is actually favored here, and these are the authorities. So anyway, this is against the vulnerable sections, and that is the main problem. And why Supreme Court is doing that? Because Supreme Court is always the last hope for these kind of groups, always we have seen in many cases. And you see, 21 states are having these communities, and these are actually named by the Supreme Court that you must do this, and anyhow there can be a law and order situation, so you can use force for these evictions, but that is a must. So that's a real issue, and it's a cause of concern, as the writer is saying, that we should worry about these trends, because Supreme Court is not habitual of giving these kind of authority supporting decisions in the past. But now this is happening. You see, there was a Zaza committee in 2014. It gave socio-economic, health and education a report regarding these tribals and all their status, and it said that 60% of the forest area in the country is in tribal areas, and that's protected by Article 19(5) and Schedule 5 and Schedule 6. As I told you that there are constitutional protection. We cannot go and settle in the tribal areas, in the forest areas, and they are to be supported by the constitutional provisions. But you see, now these claims, and what are the problems with these claims and their settlement by the authorities? They are being rejected without assigning reasons, and these things are commonly seen with almost all the poor sections of India. This is happening in the case of NRC also. Now this is happening in the case of these forest dwellers also, without assigning reasons, wrong interpretation of the other tribe than forest dwellers, OTFD definition, and dependence clause, or simply for the lack of evidence or the absence of GPS survey. So for all these various bizarre reasons, they are actually cancelling their claims. So that is the trouble, and the rejections are not being communicated to the claimants. That is the issue. They are not communicating it to them, and they are not saying that your claim is rejected and you need to produce some evidence and all. So these things are not being communicated, and these people are not educated, and they are not much aware about these official formalities. And now when they are going to be evicted, then no channels are left, because mainly the civil society, NGO groups and all, they are the only support available for these communities, because they don't come to Delhi and they do not do the candle marches. So that is the issue. And as I told you, vulnerable communities and these forces, state plus Supreme Court, both these are official ones, and they have their own arguments, and authorities, they have their own genuine reasons, but this force is actually acting against these vulnerable communities, that's for sure. So this is all given in this article. Mainly the force is actually acting against the non-derogable boundaries which are available for these people, for these Adivasis in the constitution. But it is happening now, and the way this is happening, that's a problem, because major emphasis is given on this thing, that there should be eviction at any cost, and all these states, they need to use force for that. That's a problem, and that's why writer says we as citizens have every reason to worry, because whatever we are observing as the situation in this country, where vulnerable poor sections and maybe minorities, Dalit communities and all, so all these are actually under stress, and they are finding it difficult to adjust with the authorities, and there are genuine reasons from both the sides. We cannot say that authorities are doing anything in as injustice, as we can say, but certainly there are troubles, and after the coastal regulation zone, which was actually ignoring the issue of environment ecosystem and maintaining the balance of ecosystem, now this issue is again related with the same particular protected areas, protected communities, and here evictions would follow. So that's a trouble. Next, terror monitor keeps Pak on grey list. You see, I told you recently about a particular body, FATF. In 1989, it was established by the G7 countries, which are the most developed countries, and in the starting, it was based on the money laundering issue, and money laundering became a major problem in the Cold War era, and at any cost it was needed to stop this menace. But you see, after the attacks of 2001 and 9/11 attacks, they actually extended the issue to terror financing also, and they found the linkage between the money laundering, black money, and the terror financing. It's a connected issue, and it should be curbed at any cost, and terror became the most important phenomena in the 21st century, as we all know. So this FATF institute, it has a list: black list, grey list, white list, and they put Pakistan on a grey list in 2016, and they said that it is not complying to the rules of FATF. Okay, although Pakistan actually recently put ban on this Jamaatul Dawa and Falah Insaniyat Foundation. These were the steps taken by Pakistan, but the main culprit, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, as we were complaining about, there was no step taken on that. So that is a trouble from Pakistan's side, and you see, our demand was to put Pakistan on the black list of FATF, where major restrictions are gonna be there, but that was not fulfilled, and that is done, that it remains in grey list. It was in grey list and it remains in grey list. Pakistan was demanding that we should be removed from the grey list, but still it is there. And you see, what are the sanctions are going to follow, where all these bodies like IMF, World Bank, ADB, EU, they need reports for a particular country, and these FATF norms, their following, their compliance is a must with these bodies, and the credit ratings and all, they are also affected by these FATF measures. So certainly internationally on the economic grounds, the reputation is certainly gonna diminish, but it is not on the blacklist. Remember this, it is on the grey list. Okay, and Pakistan has been demanding it, and it is a crucial time for Pakistan when some conditions are like this, that they may need to a lot of financial help from bodies like IMF and other multilateral institutions. So this FATF is of ultimate importance at this particular time. Next, travel on a jet plane using a little cooking oil. Aero India show is going on in Yelahanka Air Station in Bangalore, and many new advancements, technological upgradations, and many new launches we are observing there. We saw drone Olympics there. Okay, recently IIT Bombay startup Drona Aviation, they launched their drones. That is the only manufacturing drone manufacturing company in India, and that launched these drones in this Aero India show, and that was called Drone Olympics. Ministry of Defense is organizing that, and importantly, one more innovation like atmospheric water generation machine was also unveiled there, and it can capture humidity from the atmosphere, and that can turn into the potable water. So that was also launched, and apart from that, this particular bio ATF, aviation turbine fuel, is one of the most costliest part of the air travel, and when talks are always going on regarding the biofuels and the mixing of this particular biodiesel, biofuel into this ATF, that's an important issue. And now cooking oil, one of the cheapest source, and RUCO, repurposed cooking oil, it was launched by FSSAI, the important food standard body in India, that launched this RUCO, and initiative to collect and convert using cooking oil into biofuel. So if biofuel can be created out of it, nothing can be better than that. And the availability would be never a trouble with these cooking oils, because through these crops we can easily get them, and if that can be converted into bio ATF, then that's a great thing. So this was shown by Dehradun based Indian Institute of Petroleum successfully as a pilot project in this Aero India show. So that's great. So they may ask you that what are the incidents, what are the happenings, what are the new additions we are observing in the Aero India show. So this drone Olympics, AWG, and a new kind of brainwave that was discovered, and this bio ATF, all these issues are related with the Aero India 2019 happening in Bengaluru. Remember this. Vayu Shakti was also an important part of it. India, Russia close to inking multi-billion agreement for AK-103 assault rifles. We all have heard about the AK-47, AK-56 rifles, and recently we ordered assault rifles from Sig Sauer company of US. And apart from that, the close quarter battle carbines, that is also a different deal with America. So these things are happening with America. But recently we completed a deal of S-400 weapon system from Russia, and that was all during the sanctions era of US, and Russia is a major adversary of US, and CAATSA is there. CAATSA is countering adversaries of America through sanctions, and it is by America. So in the scare of this CAATSA, we actually completed the S-400 deal very boldly with Russia. Now this AK-103 assault rifles, this deal is also a multi-billion deal, and we are going to complete it. Russia is forcing a lot about this, and it is saying that leave about the US sanctions, we will take care of that. But this deal should happen, and it is a dire need by the forces also, where we need rifles, and that's why we ordered these from US, and now this AK-103 is going to be a great addition here. Okay, and Army is actually looking to replace the indigenous INSAS rifle systems. These are heavy rifles and not much advanced systems. And you see, assault rifles are also going to replace INSAS, and now this AK-103 is also going to replace these INSAS. So that's the thing, and that was also a part of a discussion that is going on in the Aero India show. One more important component of Aero India was Women's Day was observed there. The fourth day of Aero India will be observed as Women's Day. On 26th of February, it is going to be completed, this Aero India show, and many things. As I told you, the water from air and electricity, all these things are being shown in the Aero India show. And this atmospheric water generator, this particular machine was actually made by Bharat Electronics Limited. It's a defense PSU. Remember this. This BALE in collaboration with the Maitri startup, which is there from the city of Hyderabad. It's a startup plus the CSIR's institute. One institute is there of CSIR. So all these three combinedly, they have actually manufactured this particular AWG, atmospheric water generator. So as I told you, a lot of things are going on with the Aero India 2019, and this AK-103 is also a part of this initiative. Modi ji has got Seoul Peace Prize for fostering global links. A lot of important additions and important contribution we have done in the international economic scenario. We have created many linkages, and for that particular thing, our Prime Minister is given this particular peace prize, and the money would be given there, and that money Modi ji has dedicated to the Namami Gange program. Okay, it's 1.42 crore prize money that he is dedicating to Namami Gange program, and that's important. The reason is important to fostering global economic growth, that this Seoul Peace Prize is given. The Korea visit is going on, and the South Korea, actually not North Korea, South Korea's capital is Seoul. Remember this. Okay. Next, China uses DNA to track its people with US help. Company is there that is from the country of USA, and that is helping to gather the DNA data for the Chinese people. So why this is important for us? This is important for us because the right to privacy debate is going on in India, and this Aadhaar debate, and why these biometric data should be given, why should it not be given. So all this debate is going on. It is one of the most crucial debate for the last year. So in the light of it, we need to see this particular issue where the Uyghurs, Muslims groups are there in China, and they are very hostile for the Communist Party of China. So it wants to curb that particular protest and that particular influence of these Uyghur Muslims. Sometimes they are calling them terrorists. So China is using DNA data for all its population so that it can get all kinds of data, all kinds of issues it can solve with this DNA database. And you see, a US company is actually helping China in taking those DNA and data samples. So that's important. Although the issue is not crucial for us, not important for us, the details are not for our exam, but certainly the particular method where state is using the DNA database to check on some particular groups or maintaining the law and order situation and the security scenario, the DNA profiling is important. So that's an important issue for us. Next, White House says 200 troops will stay in Syria. It's a very complex issue for America, whether it's Afghanistan withdrawal or the Syria's troops withdrawal. President of Turkey, Tayyip Erdogan, he has raised many issues against America, and still he is a part of the discussion, and he protested against the America's presence in the local region. And now repeated changes are being made in the US withdrawal policy. First they said that all troops would be taken back. Now they are saying that out of 2,200 troops would stay there. So for these people it's a difficult situation, and the situation is not clear. According to various intelligence reports and all, and these NATO's reports and all, they are frequently changing their stances, and now the present decision is about keeping 200 troops within Syria after this withdrawal. So it would not be a full scale withdrawal. It would not be a full withdrawal. 200 troops would stay. Now these MCQ, try their answers in the comment section. I am giving you more and more MCQs in the last 3 days of the week so that they can be very helpful in the prelims examination, upcoming examination. You all must have filled the form for that. Any kind of difficulties there, then you can message me on the Facebook group, and this is my group where I upload these PDFs, and send me a request, I would approve. Thanks a lot, keep watching. For the mains especially, you can write about the issues of these vulnerable sections like indigenous communities, what are their issues, and now on this eviction decision of the Supreme Court, you should write a note that is it okay to decide in this favor for the Supreme Court or not, or what are the issues. Although the writer is putting light on a lot of issues, but certainly you can write your own document about that, and you can collect more information on the indigenous communities. Thanks a lot, keep watching. It was Amit.